Welcome to Mindful Healing, the channel that helps you explore the deeper truths of life, mindfulness, and philosophy. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to protect yourself from negativity without becoming cold, how to set boundaries with grace, and how to respond with wisdom instead of impulse. Have you ever felt completely drained after being around people who seem to carry an endless wave of negativity, criticism, or manipulation? Walking away is the easy choice. But let's be honest, life doesn't always give us that option. Depending on your environment, you may have to deal with these people, whether occasionally or on a daily basis. So how do you react when someone insults you, tests your patience, or tries to drag you into their toxic storm? Reacting impulsively is easy, but you probably already know the risk. It can ruin your mood for a day, a week, or even a year, depending on how often you're exposed to it. The key to emotional safety lies in understanding, a deep understanding of the nature of toxicity, how to shift your responses, and how to cultivate an unshakable inner peace. This video will give you that understanding, and the fact that you're still here shows that you have the patience and the desire to find the best way to handle negative people. I believe you are exactly where you need to be, and I have no doubt that you can do this. We appreciate you and are honored to walk this journey with you. We'll also share real-life stories that demonstrate the power of Buddhist philosophy in dealing with difficult people. And most importantly, by the end of this video, you'll know how to reclaim your peace, no matter what life throws at you. Let's get started. To effectively deal with toxic and negative people, we first need to understand their psychology. From a psychological perspective, toxic behavior doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It often stems from deeper issues. These individuals are usually shaped by a combination of the following factors. Past trauma. People who have experienced deep emotional pain or psychological wounds often develop negative ways of interacting with others. Low self-esteem. Those who feel insecure about themselves tend to bring others down as a way to elevate their own ego. Negative environment. Growing up in a toxic family or social setting can condition someone to adopt harmful behaviors. Lack of emotional intelligence. They struggle to regulate their emotions and frequently shift blame onto others instead of taking responsibility. Simply put, toxic people are often carrying unhealed wounds, deep insecurities, or unresolved frustration. Those who hurt others are often suffering internally themselves, but they lack the tools to process their pain in a healthy way. However, understanding why someone behaves this way does not mean we should excuse or tolerate their toxic actions. Instead, it allows us to develop smart strategies to protect ourselves. But why is this awareness so important? Because it keeps you from getting sucked into negativity. It helps you respond with wisdom rather than emotion. And most importantly, it allows you to cultivate compassion. Because when you see toxic individuals as people who are suffering, it becomes easier to let go of anger and resentment. Not all toxic behaviors look the same. Some are obvious and easy to recognize, while others are more subtle and manipulative. In fact, you might be dealing with someone's toxicity without even realizing it. Here are some of the most common traits of toxic individuals. Constant negativity and complaining. They focus on what's wrong with everything and drain the energy of those around them. Emotional manipulation or control. They use words or actions to influence your emotions, making you feel guilty or trapped in the relationship. Distorting the truth or shifting blame. They refuse to take responsibility for their actions and always find someone else to blame. Excessive criticism and judgment. They constantly find faults in others and never seem satisfied. Passive-aggressive behavior. Instead of expressing their anger directly, they do it in subtle ways, like giving the silent treatment, avoiding confrontation, or deliberately acting in ways that make others uncomfortable. Recognizing these behaviors is the first step in learning how to handle toxic people effectively, without letting them damage your emotional well-being. Part 2. Buddhist Wisdom and Philosophy for Dealing with Toxic People. Buddhist wisdom always starts with the basics. Think of it this way. When you're walking down the road and you trip over a rock, your first instinct is to focus on the pain. But no one stands there cursing at the rock until it softens. It's hard, and that's simply a fact. There's no point in wasting energy on something you cannot change. The Buddha taught that the external world is impermanent, always changing, and so are people. Each person carries their own karma, their own pain, and their own journey. If someone behaves in a toxic way, it may be because they are dealing with wounds we cannot see. We cannot force them to be better through anger or arguments. The only thing we truly have control over is how we respond. Here are some powerful ways to protect yourself while still maintaining compassion. 1. Don't react immediately. The power of silence. When someone directs negativity toward you, don't rush to respond. Instead, try taking a deep breath and centering yourself in inner peace, not letting emotions overpower reason. When you react impulsively with anger, you're being pulled into their negativity, responding with silence or a neutral statement. For example, if someone yells at you, instead of arguing back, you might say, "I understand that you're upset. Let's talk when we're both calmer." 2. See the person, not just their behavior. Instead of labeling someone as toxic, ask yourself, is this person suffering in some way? What in their life could be causing them to act this way? Viewing them through this lens prevents you from getting caught in negativity and allows you to approach them with understanding instead of resentment. 3. Set healthy boundaries. Compassion does not mean allowing others to hurt you. You have the right to distance yourself if necessary. Not everyone can change, and sometimes the best option is to step away. Avoid engaging in negative conversations. If someone constantly complains or gossips, shift the topic or remove yourself from the discussion. Clearly express your boundaries. For example, I respect your opinion, but I don't want to engage in negative conversations. 4. Practice loving-kindness meditation, metta bhavana. One powerful way to maintain inner peace when dealing with toxic people is through loving-kindness meditation. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and silently repeat, "May I be happy, may I be at peace, may I be free from suffering. May toxic person's name find peace, may they be free from suffering." By practicing compassion, you free yourself from their negativity and reclaim your inner strength. Here are some real-life stories that I believe will give you a new perspective on handling toxic people, or even entire groups of them. Mahatma Gandhi is one of history's greatest symbols of peace, and he chose the path of nonviolence, ahimsa. When the British imposed unjust policies and treated the people of India with cruelty, Gandhi did not retaliate with hatred. Instead, he organized nonviolent protests, one of the most famous being the Salt March of 1930. Even when he was imprisoned, he kept his smile and his inner peace, never allowing oppression to shake his belief in the path of nonviolence. And as you, I, and the world have seen, he won in his own way. The Dalai Lama, the spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism, also faced immense oppression from the Chinese government. When the Chinese army invaded Tibet in 1959, he was forced into exile in India. Yet, instead of calling for violence or revenge, he chose nonviolence and peaceful dialogue. He once said, "I have no hatred toward them. They are human beings too, but they have lost their way." Despite everything that happened, he held on to his compassion and refused to let hatred take root in his heart. Then there's Keanu Reeves, the world-famous Hollywood actor. Throughout his career, he has faced malicious rumors, media criticism, and even rejection from Hollywood itself. Yet, he never responded with negativity. He never fought back, never engaged in arguments, and never tried to prove anything to his critics. When asked about the negative things people say about him, he simply smiled and said, "That's their right. I'm just living my life." Instead of wasting energy on negativity, he focused on his work, quietly gave to charity, and lived a simple, peaceful life. If you take just one lesson from this video, let it be this. True strength is not about overpowering others, but about mastering yourself. When you choose to respond with wisdom instead of impulse, when you decide to rise above rather than be consumed by negativity, that is when you are truly free. Now you know the secret. No one can make you angry unless you allow them to. No one can drag you into their chaos unless you give them permission. And no one can take away your peace unless you hand them the power to do so. This world is full of storms. People will yell, provoke, and test your patience. But remember, you are not the storm. You are the vast sky, always calm above the thunder. The next time you encounter a toxic person, pause. Take a deep breath, smile, not out of arrogance, but out of understanding. Recognize their suffering, but don't make it your own. Protect your peace, but don't close your heart. Speak your truth, but let wisdom guide your words. The Buddha once said, "Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love is it healed." So what if instead of reacting, we chose to heal? What if instead of absorbing someone else's darkness, we became a source of light? Thank you for listening. If today's message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this wisdom with someone who might need it. And if you want to continue this journey of mindfulness and healing, subscribe to Mindful Healing, where we bring the Buddha's teachings into everyday life. May you always walk this path with wisdom, compassion, and an unshakable peace. See you in the next video. Stay mindful, stay kind, and stay free.